Hey Mikey, what you reading?
Oh, I'm just on the level 3 of the Book of Balance by Lex Gonzales. It's pretty good stuff.
Ooh, nice hip strategy. Keeping your center of mass over your base of support to improve your margin of stability while maintaining gait stabilization? Your otolaryngologist will be really impressed. Nice. Hello and welcome back. I'm Nate.
I'm Mikey.
We're here to help you improve your balance. So we are on day 3 of the Book of Balance by Lex Gonzales. Rehab secrets to improve your balance and decrease your risk of falling. So we are going to be doing a whole range of different things. Biomechanical exercises. We're going to be doing stabilizing exercises. We've got transition exercises, multisensory training, and we're going to finish with some step training. So what do we need today?
So a few things. They recommend some sort of block or box that you can do little step-ups on. You're not necessarily going to be standing on it. We're just going to work on getting our foot to the top, like you're pretending to go up to a stair. With the visual things, having a pen around to track your vision. They recommended having a chair and then a little coffee mug because we are going to be doing some of that reaching and hip strategy. Getting things loose, letting our body adjust to the environment around us.
Otolaryngologists everywhere are stoked that you're watching this video. So ear, nose, and throat doctors approve, and we're going to get started. So if you're ready, clear a little space and let's go. So we're going to start with a wall stretch or a door stretch. So basically, we don't have a door here, but you can find a doorway or just like in the corner of the wall. This works as well. And basically what we're going to do is open up the chest. So you can see Mikey here, he's got his kind of hands, elbows, and shoulders all kind of in one line. And then just breathe and feel the stretch across the front of your chest. So it's kind of opening it up here. Okay, so this is to improve your posture, flexibility, and strength. And you just want to hold this for about 30 seconds and then relax it and do that a couple of times. 8 to 10 times, or 2 to 3 is a good start if you're new to this. So a lot of us get poor posture because the muscles in the chest and shoulders get tight and they kind of pull in and they force your shoulders forward like this. So we want to stretch and open the chest. Yeah. So you can see he's kind of dipping a little bit as well. So it's okay to just do very light movements here. You don't want to do anything forceful or quickly, or don't bounce, but just breathe and gently stretch like that. All right, how's that feeling?
It's good. Yeah, playing with the angle there. So easy in a corner. Doorways work too, but the corner actually you can really adjust where your hands are. So kind of nice.
Yeah. All right, so the next one is a W wall stretch. So actually you're going to face your back to the wall this time. And so the upper back and the buttocks against the wall. And raise both arms to the side with the back of your hands against the wall. Slowly slide both hands up as high as you can, keeping the backs of your hands and elbows against the wall. So you're just sliding up and down, pressing against the back of the wall. So this can be actually quite difficult for a lot of us. So take it slowly.
Yeah, it's tough to get everything in that perfect plane against the wall. Lying on the ground, it can really help you sort of loosen some of that deeper tissues if you really can't get parts of your back up against the wall. It's a nice sort of passive way to stretch and regain some of this range of motion.
Yeah, and so the idea here is that you're lining up the back of the head, the back of the body, and the back of the arms. So that plane there, you're going to train your body to open up, whereas we generally tend to kind of round.
Good. Yeah, so it gets tired and sore pretty quick, so shake it out, relax, and then come back to it for a second set. You're just sort of making a W, so you can play with the angles here, you can go more up by your ear if you have that range of motion, or just sort of more naturally kind of out at a diagonal angle. But really, again, trying to keep those hands flat against the wall if you can, keeping that good posture, engaging your core so you're standing up nice and tall while you're doing this.
This really comes in handy at the next wedding when the YMCA song comes on, right? Say YMCA. So you're going to be killing it on the dance floor thanks to this, all right? So,
yeah, shake that out.
you never know when this stuff will come in handy. Okay, so the next one is standing hip abductor stretch. So the abductors, so the way I remember the abductors and the adductors, which are the inner thigh and the outer thigh muscles. Adductors is like the word add, you add together, so you bring your legs together. And abductors, I think of abduction, like your leg is being abducted by aliens and is getting pulled out.
Yeah, and so a lot of people enunciate it adductors for the adductors and the abductors, just so it's easy. So AB is out, AD back in.
I don't know why they made them so similar. It's really annoying. So stand 8 to 12 inches from the wall and place both hands on the wall for support. So you're going to turn around and face the wall here. Cross your right leg behind your left leg. Okay, while maintaining both feet on the floor, push your right hip to the side until you feel a stretch. So you're stretching the abductors, the abductors, as the outer edges of your hips. These are so important because these are some of the muscles that will bring you back in, right? When you start to fall, the strength here will pull you back in. So these need to be toned and alert and ready.
Yeah, and if you have a hip replacement, just be really careful on this one. It's not a natural movement, so really listen to your body if it's sore or feel like you might not be good for you.
Yeah, and just about 30 seconds. Breathing is really important here. And just nice and slow, and then switch sides when you're ready. So you just stand, take the left leg behind you and across, and then you move the hips to the left, and you're stretching all the way down that outer edge, the outside, the AB abductors. Yeah, so breathing with it. Okay? So this is for those hip strategies.
So, little tip there, if you push your hips forward, you're going to feel that stretch a little bit more. I was sort of playing it and pushing my hip backwards, but if you get your hips forward, you're going to start to feel that stretch a little bit more.
Yeah. All right. So if you want to do a little bit more, go ahead. You can do these longer if you like, but just warm them up now. Now the standing hip flexor. So you're going to use your chair here, or a couch or something. Make sure it's stable, okay? If you're at all worried about it toppling over, bring it close to a wall or have some sort of something to stabilize you, okay? So basically just stand about a foot from the chair, place your left foot on the seat, and just keep your trunk tall, bring your left knee forward, and feel the stretch in your right hip. So we're looking for that front hip flexor there in the right hip. Okay? So hold about 30 seconds, deep breathing. And these hip flexors are very tight. We talk about this a lot. When you're sitting, throughout the day, the hips get tighter, shorter, so we want to stretch and lengthen. And adding that extra height just speeds up and helps deepen the stretch. You can do this standing just on the ground if you want a little easier version. All right, and then switch. Alright, and again, make sure you feel comfortable. It's likely that one side will feel very different than the other.
Yeah, having this chair near a wall feels a lot more secure. Definitely wants to wobble a light chair here.
Yeah. Yeah, so this could be done, on a heavy couch, something stable. If you have a staircase with something to hang on to, you could do this when you go up and down the stairs.
Or when you get outside, start utilizing this stuff, find a log before your hike, get a little stretch in there, and get those hip flexors ready to find that range of motion.
Yeah, and that's so important because, as we talked about before, you've got ankle strategy, which is your ankles moving around to stabilize you. Hip strategy is a big one, and then you really need your hips to be flexible and strong and active and responsive for your hip strategy to work. When you get stiff, your hips don't move, that's going to be trouble. All right, so after you've done this a couple of times on each side, we'll move to the standing calf stretch. So you go right to the wall, and you're going to just tilt one foot up and keep the heel down, lean your body forward until you feel a stretch in the back of your leg. So hold the stretch for 30 seconds, and then return. So you're basically just stretching the back of your calf there by lifting the toes, and then you can even kind of fold your hips forward if you like. And this is for that ankle strategy. So being responsive, flexible, strong in your ankles, calves, and feet. Yeah. Go ahead and switch when you're ready. And you can play with different angles. You know, the higher your toe goes up the wall, the more intense the stretch will be. So make sure it's not overstretching it. Find a comfortable angle for you.
And this is good, but sometimes it's hard to get enough pressure at this angle to really get that stretch. So you can also get the hip flexor and the calf by taking a longer step backwards and keeping that heel off the ground. A lot of people do this to get a little bigger range of the calf muscle. So it might be an easy way to get the hip flexor and the calf in one stretch.
Yeah. And combining hip and ankle strategies. So there's lots of variations. So once you get the idea, okay, we're trying to stretch the calf or the ankle, you know, you can think of lots of different ways you can make variations. So be creative also. So one thing you can do is even just standing still, lifting the toe and folding over. That's enough to feel it, even if you don't have something to put your foot on.
Thanks.
All right, so next is our stability exercises to improve trunk and posture control. So first is the standing forward reach. So grab your coffee cup. Hopefully you don't have hot coffee in it.
Empty cup.
Empty
Nice.
cup, yeah, and maybe something not breakable. And you just start about 15 inches away, so a little more than a foot. And without moving your feet, reach as far forward as you can toward the object without losing your balance. And try to pick it up. And if you can't pick it up, if you feel like it's too hard, just come close to it and then come back up. All right? So this is to increase your margin of stability, so improving your ability to control your trunk and your posture. So this will help you maintain your balance while performing functional activities.
Yeah, and get used to using both hands too. Make sure it's alternate left and right.
Yeah. Nice. And then you can challenge yourself by trying with your feet closer together. So when you narrow your base of support, you're going to have a little bit harder time, right? So you have to work a little bit harder. But if that's too difficult, make your feet wider. Or you could even put one foot slightly in front of the other if you're really having a hard time with this. Okay? Nice. So standing forward reach. So get to the point where you feel like you're being challenged, but you're not straining or you're not at risk of hurting yourself. Okay?
Now, you could probably even just do this just reaching back and forth. But it is nice to have a target. You know, I think that adds to the visual, you know, the proprioception, the coordination of the movement.
Especially if it's like a delicious drink, something that you want to drink.
Nice to have coffee breaks in a workout.
All right, same thing now, standing side reach. So you start about a foot away or, you know, depending on how tall you are. And, yep, so notice how his hip goes to the right as the body goes to the left. So that helps keep the center of mass over the base of support, to throw in some jargon there at you. Nice. So picking, 8 times, 5 times, something like that. And little by little, challenge yourself. You might try different foot positions. If it's really hard, your feet can go a little wider. To make it more challenging, bring your feet closer or step further away.
Yeah, and we're ready to go to the other side. You can just turn around, I think, the easiest way.
And you might notice one side is probably harder than the other. Right? Did you notice that? So see if you have one side that's stronger, more flexible, or that you favor, it's pretty likely that will show up when you're doing this.
Yeah, so I'm bending my knees, I'm almost twisting, and I'm sticking my hips out. So a lot of different joints moving together to work as one.
And this is really important because we often, this is where people can have a tumble, is when they're doing something kind of awkward or they're reaching for something unusual, and that's when you don't even realize that you're losing your balance. You have to really kind of tune your body and prepare it, get it kind of prepared to respond. So it has to be built in your muscle memory. All right, nicely done. So now just standing on your feet, and I would suggest to do this in front of a couch, or you can do it with your back close to a wall, just in case, because we're going to be doing some front to back rocking here. Okay, so basically just bring your feet close together, and then leading with your upper body, gently lean backward, to your heels, and then forward. Okay? So this is for the ankle strategy, getting your feet and your postural muscles.
Are we trying to keep our hips
so
line?
Your hips can move too. Well, okay, there's two different ways. So you can either try it with just the upper body. So yeah, good question. So your hips can stay still and you're just moving your upper body. Okay.
And yeah, nice to have something around you to catch yourself with. If I'm just using my ankles, it doesn't take far for me to lose that balance. You know, there's only a few degrees before I actually go. So just find that limit, kind of play with it, but make sure you have something around you so, you know, if you do need to take a step or catch yourself or fall even, that, you know, you're ready for it and you have a strategy to do that. And planning to fall will really make a big difference if you're doing something like this.
Yeah. So yeah, you can try it with just the upper body, and then you can practice using your ankles as well, shifting your feet back and forth. Really just finding out exactly where your edges are. What happens when you get older, when your body, your strength decreases or your reflex gets slower, is you don't know where your edges are anymore, right? So when you're really active, you have a very kind of fine-tuned sense of where your edges are, and it's kind of like if you haven't played a sport for a while, then you go back, and suddenly you remember that you can hit the ball or run or move in a certain way, but your body can't do it anymore. So you have to notice the difference, right? You might think that you're comfortable with your balance until you start trying it, and you realize, wow, my edges have really shifted. So get used to that.
That's actually, I feel like that's a really good one because it's, especially with your feet, you really have to dig your toes in forward, all right, and really know where you are leaning backwards because it's such a fine line between okay, and then off balance.
Yeah, it can just be, you know, a couple of millimeters even. So same thing now, side to side. And you can start with the feet wider if you want, and then just get used to that, and your upper body will begin to tilt side to side.
Yeah, that's kind of nice with the wide feet there because you feel a lot more stable, and you know, one foot can even come off the ground for a second, but again, know where your support is, and just play with that fine line of balance to imbalance.
Yeah, and for a challenge, you can keep your hands on your hips, but if you do need them, you can put them out. And then gradually start to bring your feet together. Okay? And little by little, start to feel where those edges are.
So yeah, kind of a nice strategy is just to let that one foot come off, because that's the sign. It's like, okay, this foot is maxed out. Now I need to use some of my other strategies to balance myself.
Yeah, so that's the transition from hip strategy to a step strategy. And even though you aren't actually stepping, but you're using the other foot as if you're stepping. Nice. So good. Getting to the point where you feel more and more comfortable with that edge. You know, a lot of falls happen because you panic and you freeze. You feel yourself falling and you stiffen up. But when you can actually relax and play with that edge, you're going to feel much more confident. All right. So we've got now transition exercises, sit to stand. So this is to prevent balance loss when changing positions. So starting just like it sounds, sitting and standing. So use your legs to press down and to stand up. And there's lots of ways. This might seem really easy, and lots of ways you can make it more challenging.
So putting your feet together makes it challenging. Having armrests here or even putting your hands on your knees is going to make it easier. And this, we kind of want to avoid kneading our arms against our legs. So if you can really just try to go, you know, without your hands, think of that crown of the head rising up and pushing down into the ground. Using a hip strategy, reaching back for the chair, and make sure you don't lose track of where your chair is. Important here.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, and pick a number. You know, it's good to have a goal. Maybe 10 times feels like a good challenge. Maybe it's 20 or 30. You can also play with the speed, or, you know, sometimes doing it faster is one way to build strength. Sometimes doing it slower will also work on that endurance. So you want that explosive strength where you can move quickly, but you also want the endurance, the slow twitch muscles. Like trying to really sit slowly is actually quite challenging. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we've done that a lot in different videos. Very important because it's a lot of our daily movement, sitting to standing.
Yep. And that's one of the biggest predictors of having a fall. If you start to lose the ability to stand and sit comfortably with control, you're starting to get into fall risk categories. So next, grab a block or a tray of cooking or any kind of big book or something that you can touch your toes on.
Shoe box. The blocks are nice because you can go one height, second height, third height.
Yep.
So easy way to play with those.
Yep. And just alternating touch steps. So standing about a foot in front of the box and then just tap your foot as if you're marching in place.
Have your chair next to you if you want.
Yeah, and it's important that you're not putting your weight on it, right? Because obviously then you could trip. So just a very light touch. And different ways to make it more challenging. You could take your arms away, crossing the arms, or putting them up in the air. If you want to start working on a little bit of dynamic movement, maybe moving your hands up and down as you do it. So always adding another dimension will make it more challenging.
Eyes closed.
Ooh, yes, that's a quick way to make it tough.
That's actually really nice with eyes closed because your foot sensitivity has to improve because you're sort of searching for that, that touch, and that's something that a lot of people can tend to lose. We have such small vessels in our feet that the nerves, can start to fade as we go through our stages of inflammation and damage to those, but we can improve that circulation, we can regrow those structures, and we can relink the wires in your brains. So always good to just keep pushing things, especially if they are weak or you are noticing a decline in them.
This could be a fun little thing if you actually knock it over, trying to set it back up with just your feet. This is kind of a fun
that is
little...
fun. These blocks are pretty cool.
So the lightweight blocks can be a good challenge, and you'll be kind of having a goal in mind as you work on your balance. All right, start to feel your legs. So this is a really good one to improve that ability to shift your weight smoothly, naturally, and quickly. Okay, next one, standing heel and toe raises. You can do this in front of a couch, a chair, or a countertop, anything. Just a light touch on a wall does wonders. And just go up and down on your toes. Okay, and then you can alternate. So you can go up on your toes and then up on your heels. So lift your heels and come down and then lift your toes. And really powerful to strengthen these ankles, calves, feet. You can use your hands either on your hips, touching something, or using your hands to create more of a challenge, moving them around a little bit. Moving your head around a little bit will start to make it more challenging. So there's that fine line where you feel like you're challenging yourself, but you still feel safe and in control.
Thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
So choose a number, 20 to 30 times is a good goal there. All right, now multisensory training. And this one, you'll start to combine different senses. So start with your feet either in a comfortable position, or if you want a little bit more challenging, bring your feet together. And you'll just simply raise your left and right hands alternately in front of you with your eyes closed. So you're just raising one arm and then the other. And with the eyes closed, there's a little bit of that shifting. You're going to feel the proprioception, the sense of where you are in space, that you really want to improve and sharpen for your balance. And at first it might seem very easy, but as you do it longer, you might be surprised. It feels a little bit more disorienting as you go. Anytime you need, just open your eyes if you need to. Yeah, you can add your head moving a little bit from side to side. Trying different variations with your arms, different angles. if somebody walks in on you while you're doing this, you might have some explaining to do. It look like you're dreaming you're in a ballet or something. But it's very good for you, so keep doing it. Nice. Alright, so by eliminating your visual feedback, you sharpen your inner ear function and your sense of touch on the soles of your feet. Okay, so now same thing with your arms to the side. So the closer your feet are together, the more challenging it is, and you can do one arm at a time to the side or even above you, and just practice shifting your limbs and your body weight with your eyes closed. And if you've mastered the left to right, try some different variations. Try different angles, your hips and shoulders can twist or move. Basically just create variety. Give your inner ear something to do.
The S in the YMCA.
Is there an S now? YMCAS. Alright. Good. So next, you're going to grab your pen, okay? Or any little object. You got yours?
Yeah.
Okay, so stand with your feet hip width apart. And these are different strategies for your senses. So we talked about this last video too, but it's really important to be able to either track something moving while you are staying still, or to be able to track something staying still while you're moving. Alright, so this one, you're going to hold the pen out and move the pen from side to side, following it just with your eyes. So your head stays still, you're just moving it as far as you can without moving your head, and your eyes will track until you lose sight of it, okay, on both sides.
Switch arms so you get the full range of motion.
Yeah. And you can start slowly, and then you can start to do it faster, and you're going to practice kind of increasing the speed of your vision in your eyes.
I feel like going slow is almost more disorienting if you really focus on the pen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but then my head starts to turn.
See, if your head moves, you're cheating. So yeah, keep the head still, just the eyes. Alright, so it may seem pretty easy, but this is really important to keep your vision sharp and to keep your ability to track really sharp as well. Alright, next one. So now with two
pens.
So one pen on each hand. So go find yourself a second pen if you don't have one. And keep them about 12 inches apart, so just a little bit wider than your arms. And keep your head still and move your eyes quickly to focus on the pens from side to side or up and down.
So, like this?
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, so try it, just moving left, right, left, right, left, right. It's kind of like those reflex exercises, but for your eyes.
Probably play with the distance too.
Yep.
Wider. Hey, use your thumbs, same thing.
Yeah, try up and down or diagonals.
Diagonal, that's good. I like that.
Nice.
Nope.
Good. Next is standing gaze stabilization. So you're going to hold the pen and keep your eyes focused on the pen while moving your head from side to side or up and down. So this is where now you're moving, but what you're focusing on stays still. This is really powerful, and this is what they say like when you're trying to do a balance pose in yoga. If you focus on one object that's not moving, it can actually really help your balance. So having that ability to find something and hold on to it even while you're moving can help you find your orientation. Nice. And you can try doing it a little faster, and also you can try from up and down. So move your head up and down as you keep focused on that one thing, or moving diagonally. Nice work. So that's your multisensory training. Now the last one we've got is star stepping. So before we did the sitting, and it was actually quite challenging, but now you're going to do the full star with a 8-pointed star. Okay, so you can either have tape or you can set little objects down.
So this mat has a few pieces of tape on it from the last one, which give a few of the angles, or you can stand in the center of it and just kind of reach for the edges. So I really like this circular yoga mat.
Yeah. So basically, you're going to do one. If you draw a line, you'll have one right down the middle. So from front to back, you'll have one from left to right. Okay, and then you'll have two diagonals in between, from like that northwest to northeast to southwest, and from northwest to southeast. So basically, you have 8 points equidistant around you. So kind of the cardinal directions plus each of the corners. Okay, so you're going to start with, let's say, your left foot in the middle, and then you're going to take your right foot and you're going to touch north, northeast, east, southeast, south, and try to reach behind for southwest. And now you can go, if you want, all the way to west behind you. That's pretty tricky.
So that's, again, really careful with the hips. Make sure if you feel unsafe that you have a balance pole or a wall next to you for this one. You can't reach that far, so it's about your arm length to the wall. But again, we're sort of bending our knee, we're twisting, we're shifting our hips, just making sure that we've got that full range of motion there.
Yeah.
And then so once you go behind, all right, you can go back to forward and then diagonal and even across the other way. And so start to do each direction a little bit more.
Yeah, so go ahead and just get warmed up, kind of know where you're stepping, and you're going to try to, do it without any support, but use support if needed. And then you can start with little steps, and then gradually, as you get stronger and more balanced, you can take bigger steps. All right?
Yeah. That leg tires out pretty quick, so I'm going to shake it out, and why don't we go with the other foot for a little more consistent time.
Okay, so go ahead and start when you're ready. So tap each of those 8 directions. And in the book, they recommend using a metronome. So once you get used to it, if you want to up the challenge, you can start to keep yourself on beat with a metronome. And you want to start off with something easy like 200 beats a minute. No, I'm just kidding. Something like 40 beats a minute, okay, up to 60. That's plenty.
Yeah, this is not easy. If your balance is off, really take this slow. If you want to go back to the chair or sit on the couch, feel free to do that too. This isn't using as much as the hip flexors. When we were sitting, it's a lot of leg lifting, but now it's really getting sort of the back side of you here. All right, you're having to use those deep postural muscles in your glutes and legs to keep you upright as you twist and pivot.
Yeah. So, and you'll be amazed though. Like you might start off with this and it feels really challenging, but after a couple of days, come back to this video, do it over and over. If you do this 5 or 6 times, you're going to see a huge improvement. All right, so let's start with 40 beats a minute. I'll keep a little metronome for you, or you can just go on Google, type in metronome, and it'll pop right up. Okay, so if you're ready, go ahead and start. Like we're in a barber shop or something.
Rockettes.
I think you missed your northwest there.
Probably.
Okay, switch legs.
Yeah.
And let's just speed it up to 45 for fun. Okay, so try the other side. The metronome really keeps you honest, right? This is good for bowling also.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay. And now let's try to shake it out. Let's go back to the first leg. And let's speed it up to 50. Okay, so what are we doing? Right leg?
Yeah.
Okay, go. Hold on, we're off beat here. Okay, there it is. Okay. 55. Other leg. Oops. Whoops. And if you miss a couple, that's alright. You'll get it back again. And this is where the balance bar can really help, having just a little something to touch. Sometimes doing it faster, you can see when you warm up, it actually can get a little bit easier. Alright, let's go up to 60. Back to the first leg, one last time. Ready? And go. This is why you have to have something on the floor. It's hard to see it. Alright, nicely done.
Thanks. Yeah, that's definitely a workout. And I think pretty easy to do on your own. So if that was really challenging for you, just do it for 30 seconds here or there. The value in these exercises is the consistency. There's the variety, which is great, but as you build on top of it, it's got to be a little bit each day. So find some favorites, find the ones that are hardest for you, and then just work your way up, day by day, week by week.
Yeah, and don't get discouraged. The first time you try this, it's going to be hard. And then what really is fun is when you do it more and more and it starts to become easier and you realize what used to be hard is now so much easier, and that's really encouraging, and that's going to make you want to continue. So give yourself, a little bit of a push at the beginning, and it'll really pay off at the end. Alright, so thanks so much for watching. We'll be back with some more of the Book of Balance. Please share the video with a friend. If you know somebody who you're concerned about their balance, maybe a friend or a loved one, share the video with them. And also write us a comment if you have questions, if you had something that you wanted to work on, some clarification needed. We love to read comments and we want to get back to you. So thanks so much for watching. I'm Nate.
I'm Mikey.
And until next time, stay balanced, my friends.